As Bitcoin sits comfortably above 40,000 US dollars, the boneless bears are starting to realize that everything they dreamed of was all a lie, and that Bitcoin never was going to $0, but in fact to the opposite of $0, infinity and beyond. And while the bears search for reasons that this is one gigantic gigabull trap, one chart is showing us something so absolutely astonishing, I recommend that you're sitting down to watch this video. Unbelievable. I want to start off this video by saying that what I'm about to show you is literally going to turn the bears into bulls, the bulls into gigabulls, but most importantly, the gigabulls into something even bigger than that. So if you're prepared for the bust, and also excited to see the bears get absolutely boned bigger than the biggest bear boning you've ever seen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and sit down, because things are about to get extremely big. So there is absolutely a lot of things going on these charts. One of the most interesting, in my opinion, is this one. Now, before we look at that, we can rewind time to look at exactly the bottom of this bear market, and we can look a flash into the past, if you will, at how bearish the sentiment was. People at $15,000 still calling for a 60% crash for bulls to get trapped. People saying this was not the bottom, and a crash to $10,000 coming soon and even below, and this was literally at the bottoms. And guys, these are not tweets that got like 10 likes. Some of these tweets had like thousands of likes, hundreds of retweets. This was the opinion of a lot of people here. And if we fast forward to where we are now, for example, even if you go to the very top thread on the cryptocurrency Reddit today, it's about it's like a thread about, you know, is this one giant bull trap? People are still scared. We're not at new all-time highs for Bitcoin. And absolutely, some people are bullish, but there is a real fear. And I'll tell you one thing, you will know when the fear is just absolutely apparent, because the next time we get like a $3,000, $4,000 dump for Bitcoin, which could come at any second, it doesn't matter. That's normal and healthy even in pumpy situations. But the next time we get a $2,000 to $3,000 dump, watch, read the comments. It is going to be flooded with people saying, see, I told you so. Long story short, we're going back to 10K. Believe it or not, there are still so many closeted bears, and it's just reality. And now one of the huge things I want to jump into in this video is that this chart right here, I think, is potentially one of the craziest charts that I've ever seen. I just saw this morning, and it has some of the biggest indicators, the BBW, Bollinger Bands, the MACD, and all of these signals flashed exactly at the same time, and also exactly like how they flashed in the literal last bear market to bull market. We had the double bottom on the BBW right here, with the second one being the trigger, the area right before we saw the massive liftoff. We just saw that here also about 2 months ago, when I started getting mega bullish, and we have been busting up since then. And also, the MACD here literally crossed into its first bullish territory here, exactly at the second BBW, exactly before the giant liftoff. We got that exactly right here as well. Just like we got the second BBW, just like we got the second bust. The similarities of where we are now to the last beginning stages of the bull market are, I mean, they couldn't be more similar. How do I put it? They're literally as similar as they could be. These are just simple indicators. Obviously, the price action doesn't dump the exact same day after one of these crosses as the other one, but overall, the macro signals that you really look for have shown us the exact same thing. Now, we've gone up a lot, and last time we did something like that, we actually got a couple week pullback here. Especially, we got one here, kind of more similar to where I think we are now. But then also a couple weeks after that, we got a multi-week pullback as we were testing those new all-time highs, or those previous all-time highs back around 20K, which then we ultimately lifted off. And the crazy thing is, as well, is that it's the same exact date as well. Exactly. If you go back, this was October. I mean, we got this flash on the BBWs and the MACD towards the beginning of October 2023. We're getting that now, or sorry, 2020. We're getting that now, exactly 3 years later. So Bitcoin did pump into the previous halving, and this is where the previous halving was, here. But our next halving is not actually until a couple of months from now. So why are we getting these same signal flashes here much earlier than we did in the previous bull market? We're getting the exact same signals that we got before we started lifting off, but it's a little bit earlier. In fact, months and months earlier than the last time that we did. And so a real thing that I think we have to consider where we are right now is that everyone is expecting that this time will be exactly the same as it always has been. And I think that's very possible. That's the base case, right? But I think we also have to consider the fact that because of the amount of money that's coming in, this money knows something that even retail didn't necessarily know in this last cycle, right? The halvings are not common knowledge to most humans on this planet. There are even plenty of people that are invested in crypto that don't fully understand a halving. I think most people, I would say, like, in my opinion, I would say it would be most people. But believe it or not, there are people invested in crypto that don't really know the halving that much. Now for the, or at least didn't back here. However, they do now. And the institutional money that may or may not be shoving this price to the upside, they absolutely know about the halving. So do you think that it's possible this cycle has some differences to its structure and how it works because of this knowledge? Literally, I was watching CNBC the other day and they were talking about the Bitcoin halving. I believe it was literally like yesterday or the day before. They were discussing it on their panel. Everyone's aware of the halving in these institutional circles that are buying Bitcoin right now. And so if you think they're going to wait till after the halving to start getting bullish on Bitcoin, I think you're wrong. And so if it is true that they're buying Bitcoin before the halving, how is that going to impact price? Will it drastically change how this cycle works? I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying it's possible. And if it's possible, that means that, you know, why are we getting these signals so much earlier than we did last time? Last time we got these signals, it was after the halving. Now we're getting them before the halving. What's going on? By like months difference. So I think that is one giant thing to consider. And I think that it's going to catch, because we have so many people that are so confident. The majority is so confident that the price of Bitcoin right now is going to do exactly what it's done every cycle. And it very well could, but it's also possible that it doesn't. And I also want to highlight the entire cryptocurrency market cap, the total market cap of the entire space has some resistance about 10% higher than we currently are. So one thing to keep in mind, I think at this point it's optimal to be a little cautious about this price action. Look at Bitcoin on this chart, right? I think it's important at this point to exercise maybe the tiniest amount of caution at like opening new longs at this current price. Look at this chart, right? It's been pretty up. It's been only up for the past 2 months. Nobody can predict exactly when a pullback is coming. But if I'm going to be rational about this, we have to think that it's possible Bitcoin can at least maybe pull back a little bit, hold some of these levels, and altcoins can maybe run. We're actually seeing altcoins run a little bit. Now, what really good levels am I looking at for Bitcoin to receive a pullback at this point? Well, the biggest level of accumulated volume below us is right around the 37 to 38,000 US dollar level. And I personally think that would be that at this point, considering what has happened to Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks, a 15 to 20% pullback to the $40,000 to $37,000 level, which a lot of people would get very scared and probably bearish, like I've been pointing out, probably very bearish if we went back below 40K. But 37 to 38, I think would be an absolutely fantastic pullback level if we do get one here. So that's one big level I'm looking at. Because Bitcoin has gone up so much, if we're going to get a pullback, I think as of right now, until structure changes drastically, 37 to 38,000 is that next entry point if we get that. Because these charts don't go up forever. But I really am impressed, and I think a lot of people are thrown off at currently what Bitcoin has been doing, vertically, basically just seeing vertical accumulation. I think that's a very big distinct factor about what we're seeing today as opposed to the previous bull markets. And take advantage of massive sign up and deposit bonuses if you're interested in trading or accumulating any coins. They have a large variety of coins and everything using my links to Femex and BitGet below. And without any further ado, it's for me.